Good stiff left cross from Eve.
What a feeling out process here. There's the kick. Didn't quite land. Got mostly foot. And the pace of this fight can change at any given second.
Now they're collecting a lot of information from their opponent. Once they find out they may have a weakness, they'll move in on it. Brown now trying to take down Edwards.
You know, the one thing you have to look out for, the most dangerous thing, is Eve Edwards. He says he doesn't. Uh-oh. Brown trying to get him to the ground.
Eve demonstrating some freakish balance and flexibility in keeping that from happening.
Just amazing how he is still on his feet.
I was about to say, one thing you have to look out for from Eve is that clinch and the knee to the face. He says he doesn't have a nickname, but we give him the nickname the dentist because he removed several people's teeth in earlier fights in his career.
One very early event in Texas, he did in fact crack his opponent's palate with a knee strike.
I remember that. Tito Ortiz was the ref and picked up 2 teeth off the mat and put them in a beer cup for Eve's opponent.
All right, so we call him the dentist. I like that.
Oh, beautiful go behind.
That was some superior wrestling work done by Mike Brown, but Eve refusing to let him become successful with that, driving himself back to his feet.
Wow, knee strikes now to the side of that right thigh, and Edwards finally has to try to defend against that. It's painful.
Well, he's doing the right thing, taking his weight off that leg. When your weight's planted and your quadricep is flexed, those strikes have a lot more of a devastating effect.
Look at the boa constrictor type clinch here of Mike Brown. If you could try and Eve has incredible balance. I don't really see him suplexing Eve Edwards, but you can try.
Brown yanks him to the canvas, but it is Edwards on top.
Eve not sure if he wants to go for this knee bar. Look at him smiling, saying, well, this is a funny position to be in. Not here too often. Mike Brown's in trouble here. I'm not sure if...
the knee bar is right there for Eve, but you sacrifice you put yourself in such a damaging position if you don't get it. That's probably why Eve gave it up.
Boy, Mike Brown showing some tremendous wrestling skills here.
This is some of the best technique I've seen. 2 very, very accomplished athletes.
Balance is incredible that these guys are showing it, and the strength that Brown brings to the game, and he can't take Edwards down. It's just amazing.
Great anticipation on the part of Edwards. He knew that Brown was going to switch his hips and try to get the go behind, and he was ready to get out of dodge as soon as it happened.
The fighters seemed warmed up, seemed loosened up. Edwards landed a nice inside the thigh leg kick to Brown.
Eve is only, nice Superman punch followed with a good leg kick. Eve's only 5'9", has the reach of about a 6 foot or a 6'1" fighter, so that's also a disadvantage for Mike Brown. Oh, Mike Brown with a nice right, follows with an uppercut and left.
You can hear in Mike Brown's corner instructions being given by Brad One Punch Pickett, who is the former Cage Rage British featherweight champion.
So Eve's looking a little tentative here. Not sure if I'd want to get in too close with Mike Brown. We've already seen some of the damage he could do with the wrestling ability.
The final seconds of round number 1, which has been very even indeed.
Oh, Eves went for a high kick, and Brown just charges in, wants to seal this round.
Welcome back, round 2. Now Eve Edwards taking on Mike Brown. This fight, as Jeff Osborne alluded to, should pick up its pace very quickly. A very even, very tactical round number 1. Edwards in the blue trunks against Mike Brown in the red.
Just as I was anticipating, the action has definitely picked up the pace in the second round. These guys spent 5 minutes figuring out what the game plan was going to be based on their opponent's strategy, and now they're both coming out with fists and feet flying.
Yeah, look at that. Mike Brown pumping the jab and follows it up with a couple of uppercuts. He's initiating a lot of the stand-up action, which I wasn't in any way anticipating before this fight.
Both fighters poised, their corners trying to get them to move. Like 2 rattlesnakes ready to strike.
And to me, you're getting this one for free on Bodog Fight. I feel that this is a pay-per-view caliber main event between two of the best in the world at this weight. And here's that clinch once again of Mike Brown. Eve goes in with an underhook, trying to work that high knee, almost gets it. Oh, nice inside leg trip, beautiful takedown.
So Mike Brown now moves into his office. Let's see what kind of work he can get done.
Now he's stepped himself into the butterfly guard of Eve Edwards.
He tends to do a lot of negating in that position as opposed to attacking for submissions. It doesn't mean he doesn't know them. It's just that he feels his best bet is to get back to the feet, which is exactly what he did. And now those trademark Eve Edwards knees are starting to fly.
Oh, Mike Brown punches right out of it, lands a right.
That big high kick was blocked by Brown. It looked as though he was anticipating that on the break.
And thus far, Mike Brown, surprising everyone, looking incredibly aggressive.
Well, obviously, Eve did his homework. As I said before, he said that Mike Brown was for real, and Brown's showing that right now.
Shot to the gut of Mike Brown.
Gonna have to break through that 8-pack of abs. Look at Brown coming back, nice uppercut.
Brown now working the gloves, trying to soften up Eve Edwards.
Look out, high knee could be coming up. He's got Mike Brown's left arm pinned in as prime position to land those knees.
You see Brown peeling his elbow out to the side. I'm sure he's expecting that knee to come flying up toward his face. He wants to be there to block it.
Now Brown throwing some knees of his own. Swing and a miss by Brown. A glancing left by Brown.
Oh, listen to that impact.
Right under the ear. That sucks to get hit there. But Brown shrugged it off like it was nothing.
Nice leg kick by Eve, but it's warded as Brown gets a takedown once again.
What a great amount of composure being showed by Mike Brown. Going up against one of the more accomplished fighters in MMA, but he is treating Eve Edwards as his equal.
You know, a lot of Eve Edwards' records, you know, we got him down at 29, 11, and 1. He has more fights than that. There were some fights in Texas before MMA became legal where you had to strike with an open hand palm, and Eve probably has about 10 more wins under those rules than's listed on his record.
And now a hammer fist by Brown, time and time again, to the nose of Eve Edwards. As Edwards cannot get his arms free now, just attempting to block those punches. Brown having a lot of success in this position.
Eve looks like he's trying to isolate that left arm, and not sure if he would want to go for a submission here and give up any kind of position against someone like Mike Brown.
Brown tried to walk through the guard of Edwards, but Edwards was having nothing of it. And Troy Waller, referee, says, stalemate, let's get back on our feet.
Oh, nice body shot to Mike Brown. Oh,
both fighters eating it, but Edwards getting the best of Brown.
Well, Brown coming right back to the dirty boxing, taking that left-handed clinch and pumping in the uppercuts and hooks.
And Brown almost got his head taken off by that kick.
Oh, wow, wide open shot to the chin of Mike Brown, and now Eve Edwards going to work.
Just as I said, the pace of this fight could change at any moment and does so to close the round.
Round 3, Bodog Fight, presenting Eve Edwards and Mike Brown. Edwards in the blue, Mike Brown in the red. Fairly even so far, guys?
Yeah, I don't know who to pick. You know, Mike Brown is superior at the ground game, although he has been throwing some significant shots, and Eve Edwards turned it up in that second round, too, and started throwing the kicks and letting it loose a little bit more.
Yeah, they've both been really aggressive, and they've both been, at certain times in the fight, able to force the fight into their own particular realm. But as far as who has been pulling ahead, I couldn't tell you.
Oh, nice one across that. That may have hit a little bit low.
It did just a little bit below the belt, and Mike Brown will head for the neutral corner and get all the time he needs.
Thankfully, most of the time that this happens, it doesn't require nearly as much time. And you can see Eve waving and letting Mike know that it was entirely unintentional.
All right, so most of round 3 still left to determine the victor in this battle. The winner moves on to the Bodog Fight pay-per-view again here in St. Petersburg, Russia.
It's almost like Eve's fists are laser guided. His combinations are so fast, but at the same time, almost every punch finds the mark.
It sure did. And that is his trademark, those laser directed punches.
I can't take anything away from Mike Brown. I'm completely thrown off guard. He's even chose to stand up half the time, and he is landing some shots that are counting on the judges' cards.
And there are very few fighters in the 155-pound division anywhere on the planet that can hold their own on the feet with Eve Edwards. But Mike's doing it.
And Edwards just throws him off, saying, hey, you know, let me keep my distance here and pump this jab.
Oh, that kick square to the ribs, and now Brown with a sweep has Edwards down.
That was immaculate timing for the single leg takedown with a foot sweep. Just unbelievable.
Wrestling precision. Just when you thought Eve Edwards was going to lay that baseball bat across the thigh, he grabs it, picks him up, and trips him up. Beautiful.
Oh, Brown fought right through that great leg kick to the ribs. It would have stopped most fighters, but Brown never flinched and came through with that sweep.
Man, this one is close. This one is...
Yeah, the judges are definitely going to earn their pay on this one. I really couldn't tell you who's ahead at this point. It's gone back and forth, and each guy's doing so damn well.
Look at this. Brown has Edwards back. Edwards tries to stand up once again. If Brown can maintain control for this third round, there's a possibility that he could take this fight. I think it is
I agree, yeah.
Incredibly even thus far. You see Edwards, he widens the legs to keep Brown from potentially getting his hooks in and going for a rear naked choke.
Brown doing everything he can to fend off, or Edwards doing everything he can to fend off Brown, and now Brown just sticking to his back, and Edwards gets out of it.
Edwards took a left.
He was so good at getting himself extricated from his opponent's clutches and getting back to his feet, but paid the price for it this time.
This has been a seesaw battle. I'm telling you, I do not. The second hardest job in the world is judging a fight that goes the distance. The first one, Troy Waugh has it, but he hasn't had to say, hey, let's pick up the action very much. Uh-oh.
No, that was a slip. Edwards bounced right back up, and Brown is going to try to take him back with Edwards' hands locked into the ropes.
Grabbing the ropes is illegal here in Bodog Fight, but that was no fault of Eve. His hand got entangled while he was on the way down. Now his arm is free, and we're back to the action.
I am torn. Usually you have an idea in your head of who's going to get the W this time.
I don't know that Eve Edwards has shown much in this round, and if, as you said earlier, if Brown can stay on him, keep riding him, keep control, he could steal this fight.
It's very, very close. Eve has to make a move to solidify victory.
I'll tell you what, whichever way this fight goes at the end, Brown has shown that he is ready to rock with the best 155ers in the world.
Yeah, Brown is caught in a Chimera. Look at Eve holding on to it, has to let it go. And Brown once again has the back of Eve Edwards. Granted, it's standing up, and he's not going to be able to capitalize with a finishing move.
Last 10 seconds of the fight. Both fighters want to finish in a big way. Edwards trying to throw the punches and kicks that he can, and knee strikes.